And we are back to Disaster SquadCast, where I have casual chats, sit-downs, interviews, talks, whatever you want to call them, with indie devs, smaller YouTubers, streamers, just people like me who are into gaming, into making games in some cases, and today's case is one of those cases. I have SirPhobos84, one half of Carebot Games, one half of Indie Hunters, and one whole dude.
That's me. Hello.
So, where did you... I don't know. Why don't you just say something about what you do real quick?
Okay.
We'll go with some details.
Okay, well, so I stream games over at twitch.tv/SirPhobos84. And I do pretty much like 3 streams a week. Mondays in the afternoon/evening Pacific time. I do one called Mega Drive Monday, where I'm playing through every game on the Mega Drive Mini or Genesis Mini. If you're,
I was looking at some of them, like, you're gonna have a rough time with a couple of these.
That's definitely true. I tried to do some of the tougher ones, like, I got a couple of them out of the way, but there's definitely a couple other stinkers in there. But so I'm playing every game on the Mega Drive Mini and rating it out of 5, and I'm like, I don't know, a fourth of the way through, or maybe a third of the way through.
Haven't you?
More than 10, for sure. I don't know how many. It's like maybe
how many does it come with?
13,
40?
Yeah, like 40-ish.
You might have like 15 of them done.
It might be, yeah. But yeah, so that's like Mondays whenever I get around to it. Like, I don't know, 3-ish Pacific, maybe. I'll try to shoot for that time. And I also stream on Fridays. I call it Phobos Friday. It's around like after 10 Pacific time, so it's pretty late. 10 p.m. I should say.
Yeah, 1 for me. 1:30 for me.
Yes, it's very late, but that's pretty much I just play through different single-player games with my friend King Dolce, doing co-commentary, and we're just playing games and talking about them and shooting the shit and whatnot.
Which is what this is. It's just
pretty much,
except for the playing the games part.
Yeah. So you can check that out, and then on Saturdays, I'm right now I'm streaming what I call my big sack of old games, which is I just plug in an old console that I have lying around and plug it into a retro tink, and then capture that, and then I'm just playing old games that I never got around to beating back in the day.
You should put them on shelves at least. Don't have them laying around.
Okay, I'll do that for you.
Just a suggestion.
Okay.
So explain to me, you are one half of Carebot Games with King Dolce. Explain to me what Carebot Games is.
Okay, so Carebot Games is just 2 dudes making games. It's just me and my friend King Dolce. And we have
projects so far.
So we have 2 games that have been released. The first one was called Broken Silence, which is a first-person horror escape the room visual novel game.
Fun puzzles, all that. Play it.
Yeah, yep. It's like Zero Escape, if anyone's familiar with that. So, and that's free. You can just download it on itch.io or itch.io page. And then after that, I did one called Cyber Badminton 2020, which is a very different game, very different kind of game. It's like a weird sports game. I made it on Pico 8, so it's much lower tech than Broken Silence,
and the 3D backgrounds and everything of Broken Silence and modeling.
Yeah, exactly. But so you can get that one for $1 on itch.io or 99 cents on Steam. You can get a cent discount if you
go get it.
So it's available on itch.io, and there's a Steam link down there you can see below me. Yeah, check it out if you're interested.
Do you have any projects? Well, what about the other version of?
Oh yeah, okay. So there's another version of Broken Silence, right? It's called Broken Silence Recounted, and that's just it's like a Ren'Py conversion of the Broken Silence game minus the puzzles.
So just pure visual novel. If you just want to see a novelization of it on Ren'Py, there you go.
There it is. Yeah, and that's for if you have a computer that's maybe a little older, you can't run the game so well.
Where do you find
you can
that?
Try to run. That's also on itch.io.
Okay.
You can download it for free.
And are there any projects you guys are currently working on?
So at the moment, there's a couple that I'm working on. We have a couple projects that we started and then kind of let languish.
Backburn.
Yeah, because of real life stuff or whatever. But I guess right now I'm working on a follow up to Cyber Badminton.
Which I'm looking forward to seeing more of.
Yeah, it's still in the very early stages, so I can't really show anything about it, but it's coming along.
What was the impetus for Cyber Badminton? That just kind of jumped out of nowhere. I remember you're like, by the way, I made this game, and it was like almost done at that point.
Yeah.
What began that story?
So I got for Christmas from my lovely friend King Dolce, I got a Pico 8 to play with. He bought me one because you buy it. You buy like a license for Pico 8, and then you could send it to somebody like as a gift or whatever. So for Christmas, I got that because I was really into Pico 8 games on Indie Hunters, which is a stream that we did for a couple of years. It's on hiatus right now, but anyway, so we played a lot of indie games on Indie Hunters, and
which is how I
was interested. Exactly. And I was interested in Pico 8 from that, and then I got a Pico 8 to play with for Christmas, and then I kind of started playing with it at the beginning of what year was it? I guess it must have been 2020.
2 years ago by now, yeah.
Yeah, so I was just playing, it's like seeing what I could do with it, and that's what came out. I was like, well, what if I make like a stupid sports game, and okay, I do like mode 7 scaling and all this other stuff.
So it was just from like messing with the features. You're just like, what could I make that was fully done with this? Pretty much,
yeah. And then the theme of the game, like the main character and the everything else that's kind of interesting about the game, like just something I came up with on the fly. Like I had this this vision of like this character, Kai Ashiro, the main character, and what she would look like. I'm like, oh, that'd be cool if I like have her and give her all these like animations and all this stuff. So it all just kind of came together in a couple months.
What program do you use to do your drawing, or what like equipment? Because the drawing of her on the header for Steam, I always liked. I know you do a lot of drawing on that, but on something. What is it? What do you use?
So I use a program called Clip Studio Paint, formerly like Manga Studio. It used to be called
Studio Pink.
Clip Studio Paint.
Oh, Paint. Yeah. And then what equipment do you use? Just mouse?
I use a drawing tablet.
Okay.
It's just like a Wacom tablet, but it's like an off-brand Wacom.
It's a Walmart Wacom.
Yeah.
What if it was like WACKOM? The Wacom.
That would be funny. That would be like a really good like fake brand.
So how did Carebot Games get started up?
Okay, so I met my friend King Dolce in college. We went to the same college. We were in the same class. It was a game design class.
Boating Squallage?
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
And so we met in the same class. We worked in a group together on a game project that we,
how old were you at the time? Or like, how many years ago was it?
This was 2016, I think.
So it's been a while.
It was 8 years ago, or no, 6 years ago or so. And so we worked together on that, and we became friends, and we kind of like were like, hey, if you want to work on stuff, after we're done with this class, maybe we can do that. We'll stay in touch or whatever. And we had more classes after that. We hung out still, and then we had the idea to do a game project for our what do they call it? Senior seminar class.
I was gonna say like almost like a thesis type thing, where it's like the end
kind
of the
of
class.
Yeah, for like a computer science major, I guess it's similar to that. So like the the head of our computer science department was like super cool, and we were like, we could probably like tell him we just want to make a game and present it at the end of the semester, and then that'll be the project, which worked out pretty well. We pulled it off. We had the idea to come up with that project. That was in 2017, like the latter half of 2017, and then we presented it in 2018, and that's when I graduated, and then we released what became Broken Silence in like halfway through 2019. So it was like 2 years that we worked on Broken Silence.
Okay, that sounds like about right. And from what I remember hearing, at least. And like, did you two meet because like did you guys get forced together as just like, oh, you guys pair up with these people, or did you like, hey, pick partners? Like, how did that work?
It was like an open kind of pick your partners
so you
situation.
Just, like, wandered around like, I don't know you. How about you?
It almost was that, but I mean, King Dolce was the one he was like, hey, do you want to partner with me? I was like, yeah, sure.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, and then there was another one of our friends there who also joined us.
From what I heard, there was some dead weight on the team too.
Yeah, it's mostly those other two guys. I mean, I was doing all the work,
It's college. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So you got your degree?
Yes.
Was it computer science?
Yes.
Okay. I only went to school for a little while after high school, and I decided that I would end up with the world's most worthless arts degree, so I just stopped. I was like,
yeah.
But I'm doing fine at it, so.
Totally understandable.
Plus, I had a daughter not that long after that. I was like, I should focus on this.
Oh, I see.
And working and whatever. But yeah, I never gave up the game making and stuff. That always kept going. Did you teach yourself any of these things? Like probably Pico 8, right?
Yeah, definitely Pico 8.
Do you need a lot of background programming knowledge to do Pico 8?
No. I mean, it's hard for me to say because I came in with a computer science degree working with Pico 8, so maybe I'm not the person to ask, but in my opinion, it's pretty doable, especially if you got any kind of game development experience, or maybe even just hobby, like you mess around with Game Maker or something, just anything. If you have any of that stuff, I think it's probably totally reasonable.
So I could do something on Pico 8 if I wanted to.
I mean, I think so.
Because I mean, all I have is drag and drop Game Maker knowledge.
Right. Yeah.
But it's all about using the tools to their fullest.
Right.
Or like working around your limitations. So.
Exactly.
On Indie Hunters, you guys used to do. I mean, it's on hiatus right now. Hopefully, it comes back someday. It was a good show. They would take usually 3, unless you had like a longer one in there. But they would take 3 random indie games, sometimes with a theme, right? Mm-hmm. Like the theme would be space combat or something like that, whatever,
right?
Or visual novels or whatever. But they would do 3 of them, play each one for about 30 minutes each, 40, and just play them. And that's how I got to know a lot of games, and lots of Pico 8 games that I didn't know what Pico 8 was, but now when I see it, I'm like, oh, Pico 8. You can like identify it immediately.
Yeah.
And so they still stream, obviously. They just play other things. They just haven't done the Thursday was Indie Hunters, right? And now there's a lot going on, so it's like Thursdays are kind of off for now.
Yeah, exactly.
But what other hobbies dost thou have besides Twitch streaming and gaming and programming?
Well, I don't know. That's pretty for me. That's really the main thing. Yeah. I'm pretty much all about games. So I stream games, I play games, and
you make them.
I think about games, I make games. Yeah, that's about it. That's pretty much it.
Oh, duh! That's the music. I was like, "What is that sound?" That happens once in a while. I hear this light little tinkling noise.
Yeah.
So Phobos84. I assume that's your birth year.
It is.
Yeah, me and you are boomers, and when it comes to gaming, I was born in '82. So like we have pretty similar, well, not similar tastes in like genres, but we both come from the retro quote unquote scene. So like, what's your favorite genres? I'm gonna say probably fighting games right off the bat.
That's true.
Is that your favorite?
I would say it's probably my favorite. Yeah, so like fighting games, I got into those. That was a bit later in my gaming life, I guess. Like, when I was like 18, like high school. That's when I started playing fighting games a lot.
Which ones?
Even though, so I started playing in tournaments for some Capcom fighting games, like Capcom vs. SNK 2, Street Fighter 3, Third
those
Strike.
Those are some of the most solid entries there is, really.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and Guilty Gear. That's where my favorite. That's where my avatar comes from. If you don't know who that is, it's a character named Baiken from the Guilty Gear series.
What's the other one that's really big? King of Fighters. Do you like that one?
I like King of Fighters. Yeah. I mean, I played like pretty much every fighting game. In some capacity, even if it's not a lot. I played like pretty much every single one.
Did you do importing, or did you do like emulation back in the day? Because a lot of those don't come over here.
Exactly. So we would import the ones that we couldn't we couldn't like buy at the store. There were some that we imported, and some that we would get like a burn disc and play it somehow. Just kidding. Actually, that's a lie. Don't arrest me, please.
Oh, it's like 20 years ago or something like that.
I know. Yeah. Nobody burns discs, but so yeah, like definitely imported some stuff, and definitely used other means to play certain games.
I still, to this day, I can't. What is the actual like business or like reason for region coding? Do you know?
I don't. I really couldn't.
I never understood that. Why put so much effort into you can't watch a movie from Japan or you can't play this game? It's like, why?
I really couldn't tell you.
There's gotta be a reason.
They just don't. I mean, at some point, maybe it started. Maybe I don't know, in the 80s or maybe 70s. I don't know what media they were
now.
Yeah,
but that's just the weirdest thing to me.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know what made me think. Well, yeah, just because of like Japan fighters and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I remember seeing a lot of Marvel vs. Capcom or stuff like that in like on arcade machines, just in random places, like at the rec center and stuff like that.
Right.
That was a big one. And
yeah,
I remember,
definitely.
Like my buddy Carl will be playing, and I'm like, there's a lot of frames of animation and like even just the idling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was also a big part of what, Darkstalkers? Did you ever play those?
Oh yeah. I used to love Darkstalkers. Even like before I played in tournaments, I liked Darkstalkers as like a casual player.
Who did you pick?
I liked Morrigan.
Which one was that?
Because she had.
She's the succubus, right?
Yeah, she's like the main. Like she's like the flagship character of Darkstalkers, probably.
Ooh.
But
What was that I picked? Darkstalkers. No, I'm thinking of Samurai Showdown. Charlotte.
Oh. Yeah.
She does like triangular fencing and stuff like that. Is that?
Yeah. Charlotte's cool. Yeah. Okay.
But I don't remember who I picked in Darkstalkers ever. Oh well. But yeah, I like maybe the mummy guy occasionally, and I like the Kyanshi girl.
Oh yeah, Senko
she was kind of
Lele.
Cool looking.
Yeah.
At least when you understand what those things are.
Yeah.
What's your earliest gaming memories?
Definitely. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I believe we had an Atari 7800, I think, at home.
Ugh.
And
such a pieces.
I'm sure that I played, or maybe I saw my brother or my mom play like I don't know, Pong, or I don't know what the hell we had at the time.
Pong wasn't on the Atari, but
it wasn't.
Pong was like a separate system. They were called Pong machines, basically. Pong.
I don't know what we had for the Atari, but it might have been something there. I probably saw it. I don't really remember it though. I think my first real memory is like Mario on the NES, like seeing it at a friend's house.
I was gonna say the 7800 was a competitor to the NES and Genesis, which is sad because it was like 87, something like that. That 7800, and they tried and they failed awfully.
We probably got that right before we got an NES then.
Yeah, like NES blew up in America around 88. I know I was like 5 years old when it was like really big, somewhere around there, 5 or 6. But yeah, that's when like everyone at school was talking about it. And then eventually like 1 in 3 households had an NES.
Yeah, I heard about that.
The coolest part about our childhoods with the NES era was probably just that since everyone had it, everyone had different games.
Yeah.
So like you'd go to your buddy's house and it'd just be like he has a bunch of games you never heard of, and you would like trade them and stuff, whatever. It was fun.
Yeah.
It's missing from today, I think. Well,
yeah,
again, we don't go to each other's houses and play things anymore either.
That's true. I mean, the internet is probably also responsible, you know, like
and you can
just
see
being
any
able to...
game ever, so it doesn't really
Yeah.
matter.
Yeah, I mean, there is like the issue of, you know, let's think about indie games on modern platforms. Like, there's probably some, you know, 1,000 games you never heard of that are languishing on Steam or the eShop or whatever.
Yep.
And I mean, that could be like a similar kind of thing where it's like, hey, have you heard of, you know, this random thing that costs $1 I bought on the eShop? Like, oh no, I've never seen that. So,
but like, it's the weirdest thing because do you have any games that you don't even know how you got or why your family would have picked it?
Yes, for sure.
Give me an example.
Let's see.
Like a long time ago, where you're like, when you really think back now, I'm like, why did my family have Porky's on the Atari? It's like a movie, like it's like a gross out movie from the 80s.
Yeah, like a boner comedy, right?
Yeah, Bawdy. And then like Fester's Quest. I'm like, why would my parents go to the store or somebody picked that off the rack? I don't.
Yeah, we had Fester's Quest too. Yeah. That's probably one of them
because so many people had it.
Yeah. That's definitely one. Maybe like Mendel Palace. Like we had that back in the day.
Because like the cover looked weird on that one.
Yeah.
It was just like a bunch of dudes, wasn't it? There's like
Yeah, it's just all the the characters that you fight against or whatever.
I want to look up the box art for that.
I remember that definitely was westernized. I'm pretty sure it didn't look anime or anything.
Because I'm picturing oh no, it doesn't look. I mean, it's westernized, but it still is just a bunch of goofy looking people.
Right.
But they're all in bubbles.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, I remember that. I'm picturing the title screen, which is not westernized.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Did you know that was the first game made by the Pokemon Company?
I mean, I didn't. I do now. I didn't know that back in the day. But
yeah, it's game.
But like looking at it now, it's like I definitely see the similarities in like the character design and stuff.
Yeah. Do you know the other game they made that was like kind of a sleeper hit on the GBA? I used to like it. I don't know if I'd like it anymore. I haven't played it in a long time. It had a weird cartridge.
What was it?
The Drill Dozer.
Okay.
Have you ever played that?
No.
It's a weird game. It's like a platformer where the L and R buttons act as like a reverse or regular drill on the front of your thing, and you basically it's hard to explain. It's just freaking weird. It was cool though.
Okay.
And it had a cartridge was shaped weird because it had a battery in it that you had to put in it, and it had maybe it didn't have a battery. I think it was powered automatically, but it had a rotary thing that shook your system.
Oh, like a rumble pack kind of thing?
It was like a built-in rumble. It was a cool game, though. It was neat. Let's see. What, did you get a Genesis or a Super NES? When you were younger?
I think we got a Super NES first. I definitely got a Genesis, like, after... Like, I loved Sonic and Sega stuff, but I didn't have a Genesis until, like, I don't know, 92 or 3, probably.
I was the opposite. I had a Sega pretty early, like maybe a year after it came out. Like Sonic wasn't there yet, I know that. And I remember, like, I don't know if I had another game, but I had Decap Attack.
Oh, nice.
If anything came with the Genesis, I had that, but that's it.
Okay.
And for a while. But then, like, I used to be like, oh, Super Nintendo sucks because I had a Sega. Because that's how kids were back then. Until I got one myself. DKC is what turned me to the other side.
Oh yeah.
Like I liked Link to the Past and I liked Mario World, but I was like, that's not all games, are not that good.
Right.
And then shit like Mortal Kombat and Earthworm Jim didn't solidify my love of the SNES.
Right. Yeah,
like
those were
ports.
They really were. Yeah, they were so like sluggish and.
So I was proud of my Sega.
Yeah.
Until Super NES started blowing them away. So that was what games do you remember having for SNES when you were young?
So for SNES, I mean, like, I think one of the first games we got Mario World. That was probably
that comes with it, probably.
Yeah, and then we also got Ultraman.
I remember buying that from a second-time store, like a second-hand store, for like $4 for my friend for birthday.
Yeah. I mean, I think even at the time we were like, oh yeah, it's pretty all right, I guess, you know. But
so
obviously
stupid.
it was bad. So, you know, I just remember like how it was like very esoteric. How you had to like
you don't just kill the things.
You had to use like a super attack to kill the monster or something like that.
You just fart them around for a while until your thing is at level 4, then you hit the button and you just kill them.
Yeah. And like once you figure that out, it's like, oh, okay, that's cool, I guess. But then, like, we're done with the game after that. Like that's all.
What else did you have, or did you remember at least?
Let's see. We definitely had Final Fantasy 2. You know, aka Final Fantasy 4. If you're talking about the Japanese numbering system. That was pretty early and one of our favorites.
That game really showed off the sound capabilities of the SNES early on.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, whenever Super Metroid came out, we got that, and that was a big...
I think we rented it.
Yeah.
That was like 94.
Mm-hmm.
And boy, did that game blow me away for a while.
Yeah, that was like the one game we played for a pretty long time.
Can you think of games that just blew you away? I could think of, like, for each system, there's probably one or two that are just like, wow, this is the future.
Yeah, definitely.
Can you think of any examples? I know my exact ones right now.
Yoshi's Island, I think. You know,
Yoshi's Island was awesome, but it didn't. I already had a severe respect for the SNES by then, so that was just like icing on the cake for me. But go ahead.
Like when we probably bought it. I don't think we even rented it. We probably just bought it straight away whenever it came out. And yeah, and it was like the intro where it's like I don't know if it's 3D or like pseudo 3D.
Like almost clay.
Yeah, I loved like animation and claymation stuff when I was a kid. And that intro like blew me. I was like, "Oh my god, this looks so amazing!" And
then like every single enemy has some sort of special effect on it or something. Like everything.
Yeah,
it was so.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. It looked so amazing, and I just loved, the style of everything. I think like gameplay wise, like nowadays, I probably would have a harder time going back to it for whatever reason.
It was I don't know if it's back then though.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's like the level design is a little like puzzly or something. It's not to my tastes.
Yeah,
gameplay wise nowadays
for me also wore off a little bit over the years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The getting to the forts and the castles was like genuinely exciting because you're like, ooh, what kind of cool like mini boss or boss am I gonna fight?
Yeah, there were so many awesome bosses with like sprite scaling and
did not disappoint.
Yeah, and it was challenging too. It was really hard.
Oh yeah, that game was tough. Did you ever get all like the bonus things at the end for getting all the red coins and stuff?
I think so. I think we did that at some point. It was really like
that's hard too.
It was a lot of work for a 12-year-old or whatever.
Like there's moments for me that were like. Let me think. First of all, the earliest one I can think of would be Toe Jam and Earl. Because there was a ton of sound effects that you did not hear, like actual cartoon sound effects.
Yeah.
You just didn't hear that kind of thing, and it was just like you gotta remember back then we had like Altered Beast and like SNES, or no, not SNES, NES games. So It was like, what? Like 1990 maybe? 89? So like there wasn't a lot of amazing NES games either. There was, but like a lot of the like Mario 3 didn't come out yet, I don't think. But anyway, like Toe Jam and Earl was one of those big ones where I'm like, holy crap, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Even though it's by today's standards very simple. It's just the sound. It seems so cartoony to me. Let's put it that way.
Right. Yeah.
And then go ahead.
I was gonna say, did you ever play like co-op?
Oh yeah. Like if my buddy had me over. I never had Toe Jam and Earl. I still don't have it. And he's like, you gotta come play this game I got. He had the Genesis before me, and I was like, holy, this is so fun. I remember very well, let's see, 89, I would have been like 7 years old. And I'm like, can I borrow this? And they just like laughed, because they just got it.
Yeah.
You're stupid when you're a kid, you don't know. You're like, do you care if I borrow this? It's so good. Like, no.
And
let's see, what was the other one? Donkey Kong Country, that was like an eye opener for me.
Oh yeah.
And then, but Mario 64, that's like,
Yeah.
just sitting in front of the TV, like just smiling. I was like, this is so good.
Yeah,
Back
it was
then when I
incredible.
got it. That was a big one for me.
Yeah.
And then Quake. Quake was so fun for me. I still think it's fun. It's very basic, but I love it.
Yeah.
But do you have any other ones that you can think of where you're like, yeah, that's like my favorite experience?
Yeah, there's Earthworm Jim on the Genesis.
That was the animation possibilities of the Sega.
Yeah, like I just loved the design. Like I would just sketch. I would like trace Earthworm Jim from like the box, and
my mom used to
drive.
watch me play that, and she never did. She's like, I like the way this one looks.
Yeah. What else?
I remember renting Clay Fighter because I thought it would be like that, and it's not like that.
It's not. Yeah, I was excited for Clay Fighter. I remember I would see previews for it in like Nintendo Power or whatever magazine, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool. It's like claymation. Yeah. It's like a fighting game, and
it's like very few frames of animation.
Yeah. And I played it. I was like, okay, yeah, that's all right, I guess. We never bought it. I was like rented it, and I was like, okay, I'm done with this.
I remember I rented the Genesis version because that's what I had back then, and I remember seeing the SNES one, and they had like a fully like voiced intro and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
And it was like Clay Fighter, but then I thought back to the Sega one. You turn on, it's just like that crappy Genesis music. That's it.
Yeah, the Genesis games, a lot of times in the sound effects department, they took a hit. Like Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition.
Yep, which I had for some reason.
Yeah, that one's like, I remember even as a kid, I would hear it and it's like,
oh yeah,
really bad. Like I was like, oh man, this is not even close to SNES quality.
Like each system was amazing when they played to their own strengths. When you did dual ports, one suffered no matter what, or both in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
What was on the Genesis Mini? I was looking at the games. I'm like, ooh, he is not gonna like this one. Shit. Sega Mini. Thunder Force is hard. Like I'd say it's just as hard as the one you just did, as Darius, or was it Darius?
Darius.
Darius. But you get 6 continues.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I was like, okay, it's doable.
Okay, yeah, that should be fine.
Package includes. No, show me the games. List. What was your favorite so far on that whole thing?
Definitely Alicia Dragoon.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I'm kind of bummed they didn't have Columns 3. Columns 1 is so boring.
Oh yeah, I never played Columns. I only played Columns 1 out of the whole Columns
3
series.
Is like you have a little like cartoon like guy you're fighting. It's like Mean Bean Machine.
Oh wow!
It was fun. They had like power-ups and stuff. I was like, who wants to play this one?
Yeah, I feel the same way about. They put in Streets of Rage 2, which is, that's probably one of the best games on the system.
Yeah, I like.
But
that.
I want Streets of Rage 1 as well.
I don't remember 1. Like I remember 2 more than anything. The black kid with the yellow gloves, is that or does he have red gloves or something?
Yeah, red gloves.
Skater,
yeah.
He was my favorite. He was always the coolest one.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Let's see. Kid Chameleon, that's gonna be fucking rough.
Oh yeah.
You didn't play Castlevania yet, did you? No.
Not yet.
Gunstar Heroes is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Oh, they have both Illusions? I didn't know that. Castle and World?
Yeah, I haven't played the second one yet.
Super Fantasy Zone might be a little rough. Earthworm Jim might even be rough. Have you played it a lot?
I loved it back in the day. I used to be able to do the underwater section, without taking damage or whatever.
I played it probably like last month, and I got to like I didn't die almost at all. I still have it, or I still got it, basically. I still have the skill to beat it, but I got bored.
Okay.
And I just turned it off. I was like,
that's not too surprising.
This game's pretty fucking boring, actually. I got to what's that called? Level 5? That's all it's called. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just, what was it? Like science equipment?
Yeah, I kind of remember that.
Boring. I just kind of stopped playing.
I haven't played it on Mega Drive Monday yet, but I feel like, it's probably not going to age too well.
Kid, that was so stupid.
Oh, yeah, that was early. It was a rough one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I haven't played that. Yeah.
Who makes it? Is that Camelot?
Yeah, I think so. I want to say it's
That's
them.
the people who draw the way I like Shining in the Darkness and all that stuff, right? That's them.
Yeah, pretty sure.
I love their art style. They have like a.
Yeah.
It's like anime meets old school like 80s fantasy, like like Tolkien or not Tolkien, but was that Bashki who did the Tolkien?
Right.
Cartoons?
Bakshi, yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, but they draw so. I love their drawings.
I love it too. Yeah.
Their character art, like not necessarily anything, just the poses, the things they wear, like everything about them is cool.
Yeah. If anyone's wondering what we're talking about, like the character art for like the Shining in the Darkness, Shining Force, Landstalker, any of those series, like they have really awesome like just like character portraits and stuff.
Yeah. I want to know who is the artist.
Yeah, it's got to be somebody.
I want to know if he has like an art book you can buy, because I would absolutely love that.
Yeah.
Just flip through it. Because there's probably a bunch of cool sketches of stuff like Shining Force that we've never seen.
Yeah.
Or the OG art for it. Okay, so you like... I got off topic for a minute there, which I love to do. Not like there's any flow or really to these. I just want to talk to people for a while.
Sure. Yeah.
But, you like fighting games. What else?
I mean, I like tons of games, but I love
Your favorite genre?
RPGs. There's tons of RPGs that I love. Action RPGs. If you want to get more specific. What else? Just action games, arcadey kind of games, platformer. So, like not precision platformers, but like basic platformers, Metroidvanias.
Mm-hmm.
I'm into. Lately, I've been playing a lot of roguelites.
You're better at action-y games than a lot of people that I know of. Games that I consider really hard, at least.
Okay. Yeah. That's probably my comfort zone, I guess, when it comes to old school stuff.
Yeah, but then I think that just comes with our age.
Yeah.
In a way, we were that's how we were trained.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think something was lost in having no punishment in games. I know it's a good thing to not have any like, oh, thank God you don't have to fucking go back and stuff. But I don't know, there was something was lost somewhere.
Yeah, they probably instilled something in us, like a stick-to-itiveness, a patience for certain things.
Because what's that called? Like instant gratification is everything now.
Yeah.
There's no like long-term payoff for a game. You want to beat it, or you just put it away in your Steam collection and never start it up again.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, there's so much choice nowadays. Like it's different, because back in the day you would only get maybe one game or whatever, and
a few
that was
a year, if that.
Yeah, and that was what you had, and you didn't really. If you didn't like it, I mean, you might just keep playing it because it's all you had.
Oh yeah, like games that I didn't like very much at all, we had it, so I was like, whatever, we'll just try it.
Yeah.
Is there any games you owned that you absolutely hated?
Yeah. I mean, at some point, we got a fighting game called Brutal Paws of Fury for the Genesis.
Yeah, I know that.
That one was... it was just like impenetrable. I couldn't... I was just like, what is going on in this stupid game? I can't do anything, and the enemy always like kills me instantly.
Mine was Legend of Kage. Hate that stupid game.
Oh yeah.
I was like, why do we have this? Brutal was what? Super Nintendo?
It was on SNES and Genesis. Yeah, we had the Genesis version though.
Do you remember there was an era of like Super Nintendo and Sega where like you'd go to the store and you'd see on the rack there would be like Pitfall the Mine Adventure, Maui Mallard, Brutal, like all these animal-based games. Can you picture that? It
was really like a subgenre, or just like a really popular like style of game.
Animal games for a while.
Yeah.
But I remember Maui Mallard. I would see it all the time. What's it called? Dark Shadow or something?
Something like that, yeah.
Quack Shot was a very early Sega game, but I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any games that you purchased full price without knowing a damn thing about it? Or like you took a gamble on a game?
Let me think.
Or picked out for your birthday or something like that. Like, not necessarily you bought it with your own money, but like you picked it, or it was like, I like the way this maybe looks just from the box, and you... Let's say a blind game. You went in blind when you were younger.
I mean, probably... I don't know if it counts like we bought Chrono Trigger as soon as it came out, but that kind of had some hype behind it. Like it wasn't entirely
some
blind.
Pedigree at least, a Square game.
Yeah,
but like one that you had no idea what you were getting into. Do you have any like that?
There's probably one or two. I might have to come back to that one. Though. I have to think about it.
Yeah. It's only because I can remember when I was talking about going to the store, I'm like, Out of This World for Genesis has no screenshots, pretty much. It's got, like, very vague things on there. It's like a dark box, and it just had a couple of screenshots of cinematics, which, I mean, back then, the word cinematic didn't really exist. So that's all they showed. So I bought that on a whim, and I ended up loving it.
Okay.
Let's see. First-person shooters, do you like those?
Yeah, I would say it's it's a genre that I play and enjoy, but it's one of the lesser genres, I guess, if I'm like talking about my favorites.
Yeah, I don't really see you play those too often, except for like Borderlands.
Yeah, we played Doom was awesome when that came out. Like, you know, that was like the biggest thing ever. But like, you know, I just like here and there I play like, you know, I guess like Quake 3 on the Dreamcast. That was pretty fun.
Dreamcast.
And then like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark were pretty cool. And then
was it you who had the story of Phantasy Star Online? Like somebody who you used to play with, like got in contact with you again or something? Was that you? Oh
yeah, well yeah. I mean, I used to play Phantasy Star Online. There was like I don't know. There was like people that I would talk to on Phantasy Star Online that you know, it turned out they went to like the local arcade or whatever. Yeah, that was just kind of like a coincidence, I guess.
I thought maybe it was somebody else I'm thinking of. I thought it was you who were like, you used to always play with this one guy, and then lately, like in the past couple of years, someone's like, holy crap, that was me. That's not you,
no, I don't remember that happening.
What the hell am I thinking of? I knew you played Phantasy Star.
Yeah.
I don't remember liking it very much.
Yeah, it was like a Diablo clone. And the gameplay was not, you know, the call-out was very like clunky.
I remember it being repetitive as living hell.
Yeah, it was very repetitive.
I think it might have been my class. Was the Rangers the ones with the guns?
Yes.
I was a very tall blue robot ranger.
Uh-huh.
And I remember it was just like pew, 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 and then you wait. Shoot, 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 then you wait.
Yeah.
I was like, this is gameplay?
Yeah, and God help you if you miss. Like, you can miss all the time in that game, so, you know.
Yeah, that game was rough, for me at least. I probably should have picked something better, but that's what I picked, and it gave me a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't, you know, it would probably be real hard to go back to nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
I had fun with, like, the mage class, but even that's, like, you have to, like, go back to town and buy, like, you know, mana potions and stuff.
Did you play any other Phantasy Stars?
That was the first one I got into. I didn't actually have like any Phantasy Stars before that.
I've never played one.
I played 2 and 4. Actually, and then 3 as well. After the fact.
4's and I love child, right?
4 is like the best RPG on the Genesis as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Like I've heard 2 is awful.
Well, it depends on your tastes. I mean, some people love it, but I think it's pretty. I mean, it's aged pretty poorly. Maybe
I think it ends on an FU, and like the map design is awful, and like and stuff like that. There's like no bosses really.
Right.
But I really do want to play the first one because my Master System I haven't done much with, and I've heard it's good.
Yeah, the first one I've heard is still fun.
Let's see, what indie games are your favorites lately? Have you been playing any?
Yeah, let's see.
Or even just indie developers or studios.
Okay. Let's see. Right now, I just got one on Steam called Dead Estate, and that's a roguelite twin stick shooter.
Ooh.
And it's weird. It's like from an isometric perspective, I think.
I haven't heard of it. I'm looking it up right now.
Yeah, it's got a very sexy, big-breasted witch character, which I think is why it's popular.
You gotta give it more credit than that. Maybe that got people to look, but then the actual game.
That is why I looked at it again. I was like, so I was browsing for I don't know what reason. I don't usually do this, but I was like, on Steam they have a thing called your discovery queue. And it'll just show you like 10 games. It's like you know it's based on your likes and what it thinks that you like. Yeah, and it's like here's Dead Estate. You play roguelites or whatever. I was like, okay, it looks alright. Blah blah blah. And I see like this like large screenshot of this character.
Overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, okay, what's this? I saw that character.
So it got me to 571 positive reviews.
Yeah, it's pretty big. I think it was big on Newgrounds or something at first.
By Milk Bar Labs, whoever they are. They don't have any other games on Steam, at least.
Yeah, I never heard of them. There is a reference to Friday Night Funkin' in the game, which
might be related in some way.
Some way, yeah. Maybe they're I don't know friends or something, but I thought it was pretty. I played a lot of it, and I'm still working through it. I'm trying to unlock all the stuff.
Wait, is this actually twin stick, or is it like mouse and WAS?
Well, no, you can play mouse and WAS. They recommend mouse, but I like to play with a controller, and it's twin stick on a controller
on twin stick type games.
Yeah.
Let's see. What game would you say you've put the most hours in ever?
Ever? Probably. Well, I mean, probably a fighting game, really. Maybe like Guilty Gear XX, the series. Because if you count all the releases of that as a series, then
I would say single game, just
one game.
For me, it would be like Monster Hunter Ultimate, probably. Try Ultimate. I think it was Wii U. I probably had 350 something hours, 400. I don't know. I don't play single games for a long time. I know a lot of people think 300 is not a lot, but for me, it is.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if we're talking single game, it might be either a fighting game or Phantasy Star Online.
What about probably Smash Bros. Melee or something like that?
No, I didn't ever play much of the Smash Brothers after the first one.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we Melee was the big one for my group. I mean, that's the college age too, where we had free time and money, so it's why not? What's the longest played game on your Steam library?
It's probably Tabletop Simulator. Yeah, from
we leave it on
messing around with y'all. And beyond that, probably Stardew Valley. It's another game I play co-op with, and yeah.
Not Minecraft? Oh wait, that's not on Steam. What the hell am I talking about? Do you enjoy games like Civilization?
I never played it. I have a bunch of Civilization games on my Steam library. I just never played any of them.
Are you into any of those, strategy and or sim games?
Yeah, I think. I think city builders are cool. I played SimCity and Cities Skylines on Steam. Those are fun to mess around with. And as far as strategy games go, I never played the StarCraft or StarCraft Brood War, but I played StarCraft 2 when that came out. Just Wings of Liberty. Yeah.
Have you ever played Populous?
Yes, we I think we rented that on SNES a couple times.
I've never played it. I just want to know what it was like, really.
Yeah, it was neat. Once you kind of figure stuff out, it's hard to figure out what's going on, but once you figure stuff out, it's actually kind of cool.
Do you remember Uniracers?
Yes.
Do you remember what happened to it?
Well, what do you mean?
That there was it got pulled from the market.
Oh, did it?
So it's actually kind of hard to find now.
Oh, is it? I had no idea.
Yeah, they got sued by Pixar because they made a little sketch with a 3D unicycle in it. They're like, you took our unicycle. I think it's the stupidest thing ever, but they ended up winning the lawsuit.
Oh my god.
Because it was a riderless unicycle, which they don't own the rights to a riderless unicycle. I don't get it.
That is pretty crazy.
It's
I mean, just the way it sounds. Yeah.
Yep, it was a piece of poop. Are there any games that you remember seeing the title of and was like, that sounds really stupid, and like didn't rent it?
Let me think. Yeah, we would take a lot of trips down the rental aisle at like the drugstore or whatever back in the day.
I was thinking of Iggy's Wrecking Balls when I asked that question. I remember seeing that. What the fuck is this?
Yeah. I remember seeing one of the Turrican games.
Some of those have some weird box art.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about this.
What are some games that have awful box arts to you?
Awful box arts.
Not the obvious ones that I like to show people.
Yeah. Let's see.
Maybe ones you had, or maybe the ones that like you just remember, where it's just like, eh.
I don't know. I'm kind of fond of like most of, like some of the ones that were changed that I like Arcana. I think it's
striking.
It's striking, and it's like simple, and it's understandable, and it works.
It doesn't really represent the game.
No, the character is not anybody from the game as far as I know.
I always found the box art for Chrono Trigger to be odd. Cool looking,
okay.
But just like, it doesn't really... It's like a snow escape.
It's just a random piece of artwork is what it looks like.
Yeah, and they're like... Yeah. First of all, Marley or Meryl, or however you want to say it, they're all wearing winter clothes too, which is weird.
Right.
And she's shooting fire, which she doesn't do.
She doesn't have fire.
Yeah, it's like everything about it is just strange.
Yeah.
And you can tell it was just like concept art. But like, why the winter scene? There has to have been more art that was usable.
That's a good question. Yeah, I really couldn't tell you.
I like it. It's just, I always thought it was odd to use a white, like it's all white.
Yeah. Right, and there's, probably could have looked really cool with like really super simple, like just a logo or in a plain color background, or like maybe like one character or a couple characters, like just portraits like there or something.
I think they should have used the campfire scene, because I drew that up here, but that's like one of my favorite.
That's probably like the
iconic.
Yeah, if I was to like pick a scene where it's like this is
Chrono Trigger to me in my brain.
Yeah.
Did you shit, I had something about something else that was very similar. Fuck, it's in my brain. I lost it, that's okay. Do you remember RoboTrek?
Yeah. I don't know if I ever saw it like on the shelves back in the day, but I know about it.
Do you know what the art looks like on it?
No, I forgot what the...
It's like a weird... It looks... You'd think it would be like a Star Trek episode looking at it. And then you play it, it's a silly robot-building cartoony game.
Yeah.
It's like direly serious looking on the front.
That's funny.
What was that game with the weird tagline for SNES?
Oh, is it Brandish?
Yes, Brandish was to say.
Unlock the Underworld?
Yeah.
Or something?
It's so stupid. Yeah. They put these dumb taglines on it.
I know, yeah.
You probably liked Rival Turf.
Oh yeah,
Do you remember that box for that?
Yeah, it had like live actors, right?
Two douchey looking kids on the front.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ugh. I still wish, like, I always think about this. Well, I mean, not always, but I'm just like, what if you go back in time and they don't change box art to try to appeal to Americans? Would the thing sell better or worse?
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about, like
Mega Man 2 or something,
Yeah.
Because like the boxes over there look exactly like what you're getting.
Right.
And like Shining Force 2, Jesus Christ, was the box mangled for us here.
I know, yeah. There's so many like examples. Like it's hard to say, like because when you look at it nowadays, you show the comparison of Japanese box art and American box art, and it's like, why did they do that? And it seems like so obvious to us. I think there's some cases. There's probably for the most part, I like the Japanese box art better. Like if I was just generally saying,
do too.
But there's a couple where I think they were, they did a better job of like making it clear and like understandable to the average consumer.
I've never seen the Shining in the Box Art Japanese. Shining in the Darkness Japanese box art, but I actually think they nailed it with the American one there.
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it? It looks like
it's like a scene of characters, right?
It's like the guy is like Dark Soul in the king's chamber, like stealing the princess or whatever.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
Really good though. But then like Shining Force comes out. I gotta admit I do like Shining Force 1's box though, as stupid as it is.
Mm-hmm.
But then 2 was just like hideous. Shining.
It was like it's like a soldier, like it was. I guess it was supposed to be Max or whatever.
Yeah, Shining in the Darkness Japanese box art. I just want to know if they got a better one. What the hell? It's okay. It's washed out looking. I can't say I really think it's very. I actually think I like ours better. Hold on. There you go. It's in Discord.
Okay.
Boink. It's like very brown.
Yeah.
It does have the art, but like ours is just cooler looking, I think, in that situation.
Yeah. I think we had a more effective box art. Yeah.
Like look at that.
Yeah.
It looks great in my opinion. Dark Soul looks a little stupid, but but other than that, it's pretty good.
It would have been nice to have something like in this like this, but with the original artist.
Oh yeah,
that'd be awesome.
That scene, but with him.
Yeah,
he likes to draw people lanky.
Definitely.
Let me think. I should probably go back on the. I think is there any indie designer or like Twitch streaming? What got you into that?
It was just another thing. When did I start? Let's see. Did we start? I think it might have been right after we graduated, in 2018, perhaps. Like mid 2018, I think, like April or May or something like that. And it was just a thing where I was just hanging out with my friend King Dolce, and I think. Yeah, and we're just like, I was just like, hey, you ever think about streaming? Or
let's just play
pretty
something.
much. Yeah, we're just like, okay.
It just kind of came together from messing around.
Yeah, and it wasn't too long after like we would like, okay, we'll play like Stardew Valley or Borderlands 2 together, and we'll stream it. And then shortly after that, it's like, well, what if we played a bunch of random mini games? And he that was his idea of his seed that he planted. The Indie Hunters seed. It was
a good idea. I still like it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great.
It opened
show.
my eyes to a lot more games than I usually would see otherwise.
Same, yeah, and I liked indie games, but I didn't really go out there and see what was on itch.io or whatever. Like, I've seen so many and played so many like things that I never would have played otherwise from Indie Hunters.
There's really cool shit in really like unexpected places. That's why that's one of the reasons I want to make this talk show. Just like talk to people who don't probably get enough credit,
right?
Which everyone in the world really is interesting when you talk to them. So that's why I think,
sure.
At least.
Yeah.
Well, unless you run into a real douchebag, which I might someday. You never know.
You never know. It could happen.
Fun. I was talking about how you guys used to do the retro game. What was it called? Like you used to race retro games.
Yeah, we would play stuff on Retro Block. It was just like, we would just boot up an emulator and share each other's gameplay and just random, random old stuff on Retro Block.
What was the first one? I think he told me, but it was like I was like,
I think it was Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
According to him, it was Monster Party.
Oh, okay. I think maybe you're right. Maybe
I don't know.
We played Zombies Ate My Neighbors, and then I think we got their idea for Retro Block. Maybe that's what it was.
As soon as you said Zombies Ate My Neighbors, I could hear it, like, in my head.
Yeah.
Those obnoxious noises.
Yeah.
God. Like, you're playing the level, the first level is just like, the music just goes into laughing. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah. I have a fondness for that soundtrack for some reason. There's some good stuff.
It's very stand out. It's just annoying in a couple places.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Where like, did you play the Sega or the Super NES one?
Probably the Super NES one first.
Can you picture what I'm talking about when I say this music sounds like it just, the drummer lags just a little bit behind?
Yeah.
It's just like maybe a frame or two of lag here and there on the music. It's like he's a little drunk sometimes.
It's almost like it's trying to be syncopated, but it's not really, because it's just like it's just a hair.
I think it's just the game chugging along and the music's tied to the frame rate a little bit.
Yeah,
could
maybe.
I've never gotten anywhere in that game.
It's that one's impenetrable to me. I just
it's so hard.
I can't like if you use the password system, it's actually harder because you don't have any power-ups to do the levels.
Oh yeah,
or
you
whatever.
gotta build up all your crap through the game.
Yeah.
I remember getting to a level with like these worms that come out of the ground, big ones. That's
yeah.
Is that on the SNES Mini?
I don't know.
I forget. Maybe I put it on there. I don't remember. Did you jailbreak any of your mini consoles?
No. I kind of looked into it with the Genesis Mini, but I was like, I don't know. The selection on there's like pretty damn
pretty
good.
Pretty much what
already.
You want anyway.
Yeah.
I think for my SNES one, I added just a few things. I added like Donkey Kong Country 2. That's like a must-have for that. And a couple other things. Did you like ActRaiser?
Yes. I think I was mostly into the simulation half of it when I was a kid, but we thought it was really neat.
Which is weird because it's so actually like shallow.
It really is.
It's like it's shallow. It's literally, I wouldn't even call it. People are like, oh, it's the city sim part. I'm like, it's like
barely.
It's not really a builder. It's more of you just shooting a skull over and over again.
Yeah, you just shoot the same spirits or whatever, like imps and demons that come by, and you tell them to like, oh, build over here.
Yeah, you draw a box to a place, and they'll move that way, and then you just shoot the bats, and shoot the bats, shoot the skulls. That's the game.
And then they say, "Master, we need bread or something," and then you're like, "Okay." And then,
I need wheat. Oh, do you remember there was a dude who like something where you can't do anything about it till like 3 towns later, and it always bothered me. Like you're playing along at a great pace, and suddenly the people have like mad symbols above them. It's like they're fighting. We need music.
Oh yeah,
Does that sound familiar?
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you have to bring back music later to like the second town in the game. It's like, man, they've just been pissed.
That's weird.
This whole time. Let's see. What about when you start getting into the 32 and 64-bit era? What kind of stuff sticks out to you then?
Okay, let's see. We got a PlayStation. We didn't have a Saturn back in the day. We do have one now.
To me,
but
like PlayStation is Symphony of the Night and like Suikoden.
Yeah.
I didn't have one, but Carl did, and that's like I saw those a lot.
Oh yeah. So, I mean, Symphony of the Night. You know, we rented that at first, and it was like eye-opening. Like, oh my god, this. Yeah, it was like so awesome, and that was like one of the big ones for sure.
That's what I think they should have stuck with 32-bit systems, but they just had to push the polygons, and the systems weren't really built for it.
Yeah, and there was like some weird. I remember some places that reviewed Symphony of the Night, like they trashed it because it didn't look 3D or whatever.
Stupid.
Yeah, it was just weird. They didn't know.
Wasn't the Saturn like literally was built for like the best 2D you can have?
Yeah.
And they just didn't do it. We're playing catch up. We gotta do. They didn't even like play to its strengths.
Yeah, I mean, there was the 2D games that they had were nice, but
I don't remember enough of Saturn. To me, Saturn. When I think of Saturn, I think of like Daytona.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bones and what's the other one? Clockwork Knight, because those are like the only games I know for it, really.
Yeah, you'd see those at Blockbuster all the time.
And Clockwork Knight's boring.
Yeah, I mean, I when I was a kid, before we got a PlayStation, I was like all about Sega, obviously, and I was like, oh my god, I want a Saturn more than anything in the world.
Yeah.
And then it died pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, they pissed off like retailers.
Yeah.
Big time. I remember KB Toys wouldn't have Sega products anymore because of that.
Yeah.
They're just like, fuck you. Yeah, the Saturn was a disaster for Here's a question. Do you think the Saturn would have performed better if the 32X did not come out?
Probably. Yeah.
A lot of people were burned by Sega because they kept releasing things like a year after.
Mm-hmm.
They had the Genesis was 89. I don't know when the CD was, but like the CD was a flop, then the 32X was a flop, and then the Saturn was right after that, and people are like, we're done with you.
Yeah. The Sega fans, they were burned twice already by the CD and 32X. So
I didn't know anybody with the 32X, did you?
No. We had cousins that had a CD, and I thought it was super cool. Like, they had like some FMV game, like Sewer Shark.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine playing it more than once.
Yeah.
I'm sure like one go through was fine, but those FMV games like did not last.
Yeah. When I was a kid, I thought it was super. I was like, oh my god, it's so cool. And they also had one called Dark Wizard, which is like a strategy turn-based RPG, and it had like an anime intro that was awesome. I was like, oh my god, this looks so cool.
Have you ever seen Popful Mail?
Yes.
I remember that one. Dark.
Yeah.
I typed in Google search for Dark Wizard. Like that's going to be specific enough. It was just pictures of a Dark Wizard.
Oh.
Saturn.
Or no, it's for Sega CD, I think.
Whoops, it came up anyway. Oh yeah,
okay.
It has like even the front of it looks like a faux anime sort of looking thing to it. Ah, yeah, I could see. There's like a hot succubus lady and like a Dracula looking dude.
Yeah, it's something I would probably try that if I had a copy of it.
Is it like
CD
YS3 or East 3?
No, it's like a hex-based, like turn-based strategy.
Oh, I'm just looking at the battles then.
I think, yeah.
It's like Fire Emblem almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting. What is your history with the TurboGrafx 16, Andy?
I don't have any. I never played a actual TurboGrafx.
Touched one?
No.
That's interesting. Yeah, that was like the outlier. The weird kid always had that one.
Yeah, definitely.
You were a bit young for that too.
True. Yeah.
Just like the Ataris, like there's no reason for you to really. Because I mean, I was born at the tail end of the Atari, so.
Yeah.
What about home computers of the era of the 80s?
We had a computer that could play like Wolfenstein.
So like an IBM something or like a Tandy
something. It was an IBM something or other. I don't remember the specs. Maybe 286 or something.
An AT. There's a few. There's a lot of different IBMs.
Yeah.
I want to get one. They're kind of pricey, like $500 nowadays.
Oh wow. Okay.
I love old crap.
Yeah.
Did you ever play any games that you felt or that you had to sneak?
Let me think. We didn't really have anything like that. I mean, even like
but maybe at your friend's house, you're like, let's play this one. We're not supposed to play this.
Yeah.
Or maybe renting something you weren't supposed to.
Yeah. There was like, I don't know, it's just random like DOS. I don't know. DOS porn games, I guess. Like our friend would like have on a weird like unlabeled floppy or whatever.
There is stuff like that. I remember Leisure Suit Larry was the one we snuck. And
yeah, I don't know.
Wolfenstein 3D.
Mm-hmm.
My friend's parents didn't want him to have that, but he like snuck it.
Yeah. Our parents are pretty cool about like that sort of stuff. Like, you know, they bought us like Mortal Kombat.
Care so much because they knew I wasn't doing anything ridiculous. But at my friend's house, he wasn't allowed to play stuff like that. So.
Right.
But I didn't have a PC like that.
Mm-hmm.
We had a Commodore, and that was it.
Oh, okay.
And then in like '95, we got a Packard Bell, and then I got like into the that era of gaming.
Oh yeah.
Like then Quake came out pretty soon after that and stuff like that.
Yeah. We took a long time to upgrade to something in the mid '90s. We kind of I don't know, like MechWarrior 2.
Yep, that era.
Duke Nukem 3D, like that was like when we started getting more PC stuff.
Does it ever bother you what happened to Duke?
Not really. Yeah.
My thing about Duke Nukem is that he never used to be funny.
Yeah.
There was comedic aspects, but he was just like a badass.
That was, yeah. He had the one line, he's like, oh, I could do this before Oprah comes on or whatever.
Yeah, but like for the most part, he was just an action hero. And then somewhere down the line, the lines got crossed. We're like, oh, he's a total funny guy. It's like, what?
Yeah, they probably just like they saw like Evil Dead and you know wanted to be like Bruce Campbell.
Kicked ass. It was just a little funny.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it makes me sick. I don't really care about Duke that much. It's just like, why is that the direction he went?
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
Let's see, that was like 1998. Did you have what was the first like introduction to the internet that you had?
It was probably with that computer. But
like, what was the online experience for you? Like, what did you first do online?
Oh, well, actually, okay. I think, I mean, before that, I don't know what computer it was, but we had some computer that we got an AOL, you know, like disk with, and my first time
AOL was your first like online.
Yeah, like going some chat room or you know something like that.
I used to go into like gardening chat and just be like, "Fuck you," you know, the usual kid stuff. Garbage. Yeah. To me, the internet like popped into existence around like 1995 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
Even though it was technically around before that.
Right.
And then, let's see, you graduated in like 02 or something like that?
Yeah, 03.
Oh my god, what a baby. 00
I know.
For me. That was the true cool class, the new millennium.
Oh wow. Damn.
Am I? You're a millennial, right?
I think so.
I think I'm the eldest a millennial can get and still be called one.
Oh wow.
It's like it's right on the cutoff.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny because do you know anybody who is like only a little bit older than you, but they're like totally feel older?
I can't really think of anybody like that.
For me, it's Jack, my buddy Jack. He's like months older than me, maybe like half a year, maybe a year, and like it's like night and day. He doesn't understand YouTube or the internet or like anything like that. He is Gen X or whatever it is, Gen Y. No, we're Gen Y. Yeah, he's a Gen Xer. It's so
that's
weird.
Funny
because it's like you're literally a year older than me. How does it change? And it does.
Yeah, it really, you know, I mean, they call us different generations, and it feels like that with you two, I guess.
It's so weird, because I would be like, that's not a thing. You can't just call it, because it's so vague when a cutoff would be. But no, apparently, if you're 41 right now, you are one of those crotchety, I don't like the internet kind of people.
Yeah.
It's funny. We're lucky. We got to grow up to see both sides of the coin, like an internetless world and an internet world.
Yeah, true.
Did you hang around outside a lot when you were young?
I mean, every now and then. I didn't really play sports too much unless I was forced to, or they made us do it in school or whatever.
Which one?
But just like, you know, whatever. We're playing kickball today or whatever the hell it was in school.
Did you ever do any extracurricular things?
The closest thing I did was I was in the yearbook staff in middle school.
Loser! No, just kidding.
I know, it was my friends got me into it. They're like, hey, we're doing yearbook.
Was it fun though?
And it was, I mean,
it's alright.
It was okay. It was whatever. It was just like something to goof around with friends with. Really, that was the main point of it.
I was in a ski club, and I think that was I did basketball when I was real little, but that's like real little, like elementary school, because I hate sports.
Right.
It was one of those things where like your friends are doing it, and it's like, I guess I'll try.
Yeah.
But skiing, I love skiing. I haven't done it in years, but it's been a long time. Water skiing, I love that. Snow skiing, snowboarding. Other than that, I'm really not a sports person. I like ice skating too, I guess. Roller skating, not inline. I'm bad at that.
Yeah.
Do you do any of that garbage?
I mean, I tried both, you know, skating, roller skating and inline. I could never do the inline. I just fell on my ass every time.
Yeah, I like roller skating though. It's like, for some reason, I'm really good at that. Just inlines screw me up.
Yeah. I've done that before. I haven't done it in a long time.
Which is weird, because I can ice skate. You'd think it'd be almost the same.
Right, yeah. That is weird.
Well, you guys don't really have snow over on your side of the world either.
No.
So I guess skiing wouldn't be in your list of shit.
Yeah, unless you drive really far to the mountains or whatever.
Colorado or something for a minute, or wherever. Shit. Do you have a lot of siblings?
Just one.
Just one? Your brother?
Yep.
He's like my age, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. I don't know him. Duh. I came from a big family-ish. I'm the fourth.
Okay.
And we lived in a very small house, and we were outside a lot until a little later when I became a big nerd and just stayed inside all the time.
Okay.
Let's see. I don't know, what other bullshit can we bullshit about? I don't really have anything prepared, so go ahead.
Okay. I mean, I could talk about Brandish, the games.
What about them? You like
well,
them?
I mean, I could kind of talk about the plot and see if anybody listening is like interested in it. Maybe they can check it out.
I was not familiar with Brandish until I saw you messing or talking about one or playing one or something, and I was like, This is old? I don't remember this.
Yeah. So it's a series of I guess action RPGs. It's called Brandish, and if you're Googling it, listening to this, and you never heard of it, you might have to you have to Google like Brandish game or something, because I think there's an anime called Brandish and probably some other stuff.
What systems is it for?
So it came out first on the PC 98, which is the Japanese computer. Yeah, it's a Japanese series. Came out in 1991 at first, so pretty old. So it's a Japanese action RPG. It's like fantasy. I wrote down some notes about the plot, so I can tell you about it a little bit.
Is it your favorite RPG series?
I don't know if it's my favorite. I mean, I've only played the first. Well, so I played the PSP remake of the first Brandish game. That's the one I played, or played all the way through anyway.
You didn't even beat the old ones? Oh my god!
No, I never beat 1 or 2, and 3 didn't have a translation. So I don't know if it's my favorite, but I think it's really neat. I think it's fun to talk about.
It has a hook and a gimmick.
Yeah. And if you're into a certain style of game, it might be right up your alley. I've definitely told people about the game, and they like, oh, I never heard of it, and then they check it out and like, oh wow, this is really like neat, So I guess if it sounds neat, then check it out.
Well, wait, besides the PC 99, what else did it come out for, so that people know where to look?
So it came out on another Japanese PC called the FM Towns, which you probably never heard of. You might have heard of this. It was on the SNES, and there's a SNES version of it.
Are both of them on the SNES? The first two?
I think the sequel was not on. Oh wait, no, actually, okay. So the sequel was on PC 98 and SNES as well. Okay. The second one, but the third one was. No, there wasn't an official translation of that one. So the first game takes place in a kingdom called Vittoria, and it starts like 1,000 years ago, where there's a king called, his name's Bistal, and he's ruling over this city which surrounds a large tower that's guarded by a dragon. And so the king hears about this like power that's held at the top of this tower, and he's like, oh, I really want that power. He's greedy for the power, so he gets an army, and he attacks the tower and kills the dragon. Or he doesn't kill the dragon, but he moves past the dragon, I guess, into the tower. He's trying to get the essence of power at the top of this tower, and the dragon is trying to protect it from falling into the king's hands. So the dragon sacrifices himself to destroy the power,
So that the king can't have it.
Yes, and then the power, I guess it like possesses the king and he becomes some monster, and the power also sinks the entire city like beneath the ground, including the tower. So there's underground like ruins basically. It's the whole city's buried, and it's that way for 1,000 years. And then I guess when the game takes place, you play as a mercenary named Ares. He's like a warrior, and he's being confronted by a sorceress named Deladellan, and she thinks that he killed her master, and she's trying to get revenge. And when she attacks him, she blows a hole in the ground, and they both plummet down to the ruins of Vittoria,
to the dungeon, basically, right?
Yeah, and so you're at the bottom.
Your way up the whole game.
Yeah. So you're going up the tower in the game, and once you reach the top of the tower, it's like you're on the surface again.
Do they ever explain why she thinks you killed her master?
It's never brought up, as far as I know.
She just gets in her little blonde head, and then that's that.
She thinks that you did it, and that's that. And your protagonist is they don't talk. They're mute protagonists, so there's no there's no like furthering that. That's pretty much it.
So apparently, Brandish 2 does have an English patch, in case anybody's curious.
Yes. So Brandish 2, you can play it on the SNES or on PC98. Both of them have a fan patch, if you're interested. I guess I could talk about
different from other RPGs. What's the main hook of the game?
Well, let's see. So I mean, I think the thing that people tend to latch onto, and the thing that's most noticeable about the original versions of the game of Brandish, like 1 and 2 and 3, is like the perspective. So it's like a top-down perspective, but you're always looking at the main character's back, and so you can turn left and right, but it turns the entire ruins from your perspective. So it looks like the whole world is shifting constantly when you turn left and right.
It takes some getting used to.
It is very strange, yeah.
You can play the original versions though too, like Space Invaders style.
Right, yeah, you can strafe. So it's a little, if you're watching somebody play, it's kind of hard to follow the old versions of the game. The PSP remake, I should mention, if you really want to check this game out and you have a PSP and a PS3, or if you know how to like obtain a PSP game,
you can play somehow. It on TV.
Yeah, you could play it on a TV if you wanted to, and it's still available on the PS3 store. So
I was always curious, like, what would the game have been like if they just did Mode 7? You know what I mean? Instead of the quick swapping of the directions. I wonder.
It could have been really cool. Like,
but it might have also have lost its identity.
That's true. Yeah.
But you could picture L and R just like spinning the world.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then you just move with the D-pad. Is that how you played? Was L and R like spins the perspective?
Yes, I'm pretty sure that's what I did. Yeah.
I know you could swap it.
Yeah. So the SNES version, you could swap it. Like you hold L and R to like strafe or whatever, and then the directional pad would just turn you, or L and R would
like that
shift you, something like that. But I mean, what else is interesting about the game? It's very difficult. There's lots of traps, and it's got a lot of floors to the dungeon.
I was gonna say, isn't there a lot of like falling to a previous floor?
Yeah, that definitely happens. There's like pits, and you'll get sent back to the last floor. You gotta redo it, but you can save it. It's pretty generous about saving. You can save wherever you want, pretty much.
How long is it? Is it like a 20-hour playthrough?
Yeah, 20 hours I think is pretty standard. And the character of Deladellan is pretty fun, I think. Because the game has this very like somber tone, or like, you know, when you come to a new part of the ruins, the game will like show a scene of what it looks like, and it'll like very slowly like play this very like quiet music, and it's building up, and it's like describing the ruins. It's like, you know, it's describing the looks and the scent and the feel of the air, the mustiness around you, and stuff like that.
Somebody talking about an interesting thing about it is that like the people you meet are like all genuinely like glad to see other people.
Yeah.
Where it's not like most games where it's just like, oh, everybody's an enemy. They're like, oh my god, somebody else is down here too. Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, there's plenty of I guess like other people, travelers, shopkeepers, people who set up shops for whatever reason. They're still around here in the ruins, just sitting there, and they say, "Hey, oh, look who it is! It's a new wandering swordsman."
Hey, it's me, swordsman.
Yeah, exactly. Hey guys, it's me.
What's how hard is it, do you think? Would you play it as a hard game, or is it like just practice and level up?
It's really hard. There is an element to it where if you know where certain like treasures are, or if you grind enough, you know, it might not be so bad. But the bosses for sure are challenging. You're definitely going to have to retry those, I would assume, unless you're some kind of god or whatever.
Is it one of those where you walk in, you just kind of get your ass handed to you for a minute, and you got to try it a few times?
Yeah, definitely.
It's not like there's not. I haven't played it. Is there like weaknesses to the enemies, or do you just basically like use magic, use sword, and move around?
There are weaknesses. I'm pretty sure like some enemies are weak to like, you know, magic or fireballs or whatever, and some are weak to stabbing and swords and whatnot.
I've still never even tried it, so I don't know much about it. But I've seen it, and I've seen people play a bit of it, and I always thought it was interesting. And I've seen you play a little of the PSP remake.
Yeah. So you know, like I was saying, it's got that like, you know, really like atmospheric quality to it. Great music too. Check out the soundtracks if you're interested in some really awesome stuff. some good old game music. Woo! And
that was inappropriate.
And the character of Della Dillon is always, you know, there. She's in the first game at least. She's you know, she's kind of an antagonist of sorts, but she's really like
trying to kill you, right?
She's trying to kill you, but it's played as a comic relief sort of thing, because she'll fall into a trap or whatever constantly when she tries to kill you.
You, right? And then it's like, whoops.
Yeah, I think it's like a play on like a trope of anime or manga or something like that, a comic relief kind of character. So if you're not into that, maybe you wouldn't like it. But I thought it was like, it's kind of clashing of tones, but I thought it was like really funny.
It is weird when it's like a somber sort of game, and then you have this anime girl wearing like a string bikini.
Yeah,
she's like, I will kill you, and then she falls into a hole. Whoa!
Yeah, exactly.
That's silly.
And
but that's like the appeal of the weird Japanese game. So
yeah, it's one of those weird ones, and it also kind of serves like almost like a tutorial, because she'll fall into a trap, and that'll tell you like to look out for that kind of trap too.
Traps.
Yeah. So yeah. So it's I think so. Yeah.
I remember this mini map. I just don't remember if it shows like traps and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think it will. Pretty sure it will.
When did you first play that, and why did you get into it?
So we didn't play it. The SNES version was released in America in 1995, apparently. So it was pretty late, and a while after it had come out in Japan. And we didn't get it until we went to like Funko-Land in, I don't know, 2000 something.
Funko-Land, my favorite.
Yeah, and we're like, what's this? Brandish? That's weird. It looks like it's by, you know... Actually, it didn't even say like it's by Falcom. It's like by Koei or something on the cover.
Huh.
But we're like, oh, it looks interesting, and we tried it. And I remember getting to a part with Della, I was like, wait, what? They called her Alexis on that version.
Yeah.
They changed her name for some reason, but I thought it was weird and,
Did they
and
change
interesting.
the main character's name in ours?
Yes. They called him Varric instead of Ares.
Weird.
So it's just a weird localization thing.
Have you ever run into a localization thing where it clicked in your head why it happened, and you're like, how did this happen? That's a bad worded question, but like, hold on, what the hell is it? Like Earthbound.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember? Have you played it? Yeah, duh.
Yeah.
Like Porky, the main antagonist. His name is Pokey in America, and I was like, oh, I could picture a Japanese person. They're like, what's this guy's name? That's Pokey. That is Pokey. Like he's saying Porky, but it's like not coming through.
Yeah.
Something like that, Pokey. And then so you just Pokey. You just like that's what they put.
Right.
There was another one. A big one was Final Fantasy III. One of the spells, instead of nuke, it's called Merton. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
Merton. And do you remember what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, meltdown, right?
Meltdown. And I was like, okay, picture a Japanese person saying the word meltdown. Merton. And he's like, what? Merton? Merton. Like, something like that probably happened, where they were like talking to each other or just like trying to sound it out. I don't know. I bet you it's something stupid like that.
Yeah.
Merton. It's like, are you saying Merton? I cannot explain it any other way. How the hell do you get Merton out of that?
There's definitely things like that nowadays I can look at, back in the day I would just call it Merton, like.
Oh yeah, but like Mario 2 where it says Clawglip, you remember that? Clawglip. It's like, oh, Clawglip, okay, so they just write it down. It's like,
yeah.
I just picture somebody saying it with a heavy accent, and there you go.
Right.
And then somebody writes it. But I can't think of any more examples. I just didn't know if you ran into any. There was a bunch that I thought of over the years, but like the Pokey and the Merton is two big ones that always stick in my brain.
It probably wasn't until later in life, for the most part, when I maybe I don't know if watching Dragon Ball or some other anime or something, I don't know, when I became aware that they would transpose like R's and L's and stuff like that.
Yeah. That we all watched Dragon Ball like in like 2000.
Oh yeah. I loved
it.
Yeah.
And then like as you got older, you're like, wow, this is a lot of wasted time. Like the series needs to pick up its fucking feet once in a while.
Yeah. I do love Dragon Ball still, but yeah, it's hard to watch the whole thing.
It is. Like if you watch an abridged version, I'm sure it's great, but yeah, there's so much wasted time.
yeah, for sure.
I'm like, oh my god, you can condense this story into like a half hour sometimes when it's like 3 hours worth.
And each arc got longer and longer.
Yep.
Like the Vegeta one, like that was pretty long already, but it's a solid watch. It's a good story. And then
I've heard that the reason that happens is because they can't overtake the manga.
Yeah, they're kind of spinning their wheels, right?
Yeah. Well, why don't they just wait till the manga's out and then make a cartoon out of it?
Well, I don't know. I guess you have to talk to some marketing guy about that.
And how the hell could animating a cartoon take less time than a guy just drawing the comic?
That's a good question.
I don't get it. Well, I guess it's just one dude versus everything else. But yeah, I always thought that was weird. I'm like, how do they spend so much time on one little story aspect? And it's like, well, they can't overtake the manga. So
yeah, makes sense.
And did you get into the whole anime scene in the early 2000s?
Not really. I was like interested because I was a fan of Dragon Ball Original and Dragon Ball Z after that. And we would have like friends, like family friends, like my brother would have friends that would know about anime, and they'd have like tapes they bring over and stuff. But I didn't really get into much else, honestly.
Yeah, I like Dragon Ball was pretty much it for me too. It's weird because we love Japanese games and all the tropes and anime style of Japanese games, but I do not like anime per se.
Right.
like I don't know why like anime-like things, like Phoenix Wright series is clearly anime inspired. Like there's all kinds of series that are very anime, and obviously Brandish and stuff like that. But like I don't like anime. But isn't that weird that we love Japanese games but not really their cartoons?
It is weird, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say, you know, it's I'm not like I'll watch an anime.
I'm not anti.
You know?
It's just like I'm just not into it.
Yeah, just generally, it's like, oh, I'm not really gonna look at it or watch it unless there's something.
Well, we've seen a couple, you know, for obvious reasons.
Right.
But like for the most part, I find it vapid and like just samey.
Yeah,
it's just so samey.
Yeah. I feel like that's. I mean, sometimes I look at stuff. I hear about like current anime stuff, series, and I'll look it up and they're like, oh, it looks cool, but then I can kind of see what it is.
Yep, like by I know looking that at style like already of storytelling, and I know what's going to happen, and yada yada. Yeah. Like usually it's it's a what they call shonen, like a JoJo style, like villains and heroes that get powerful and they get abilities and magic or whatever. That do you remember when Dragon Ball itself was on like early ass like mornings?
Yes,
it was like 6 a.m. like before school or something.
I used to set it my VCR to tape every Saturday morning, or that, or wake up early and tape it. Yeah.
Well, back then it wasn't hard to wake up early on Saturdays because you already had the school like mentality.
Right. Yeah.
But do you remember Ronin Warriors?
Yeah. I don't think I watched that. I remember the name though.
That was Toonami.
Yeah.
They just looked like these weird, like dark colored. There was like they were all like a dingy color of metal, kind of like just samurai looking dudes.
That sounds
like
that sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. There's like a greenish one, a bluish one. You can picture like gray mixed with green, gray mixed with blue, gray mixed with orange.
Yeah,
that's all I remember about it at all. And like Sailor Moon, I think, was on back then. Toonami.
Yeah. We used to watch that before Toonami as well. Like that was on TV with Dragon Ball, or maybe after Dragon Ball.
I'm trying to think, like, was there any girl shows that you liked to watch as a kid? There was a couple I liked.
I did like Sailor Moon. I watched like the first season of it or whatever.
That wasn't on when I was a kid at least. I'm talking like when I was like 5 to 10. Like I used to like Rainbow Bright and I used to like Gem.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know. Well, I don't know if it's necessarily for girl. I used to like. I would watch like She-Ra.
Yeah, that was. I would say it's girl show.
Yeah,
it's like
I remember
He-Man and She-Ra. They were the boy and the girl version.
Yeah. I remember like. I don't know what caused it in me, but I remember like thinking, wait a minute, this is a show about a girl. Should I be watching this? Is this something I should be into?
I don't think it's weird because like people didn't care back then.
Yeah.
You know, nobody's gonna make fun of you for watching a girl show back then. It was like, because I remember everybody had like a Care Bear. Sometimes boys had, you know, just whatever, Rainbow Brights, My Little Ponies, things like that. It didn't. I guess dolls was the cutoff. If you had Barbies, you were girly.
Probably.
But like toys and stuff and watching shows, nobody really made fun of you for that back then.
Yeah. I don't remember it happening too much.
No, because I mean, I knew everybody had a Care Bear. Nobody was like, "Oh my god, you're such a baby."
Yeah, I definitely had some Care Bear stuff.
Did you have one?
Yeah, I mean, probably had. I don't know. I don't even know. It maybe, I don't know, sheets or something, Care Bear sheets or something like that.
What about like Cabbage Patch Kids might be a little early for you too, because you were like right on that cutoff.
I don't think so. Yeah.
I don't think I had a Cabbage Patch Kid. I had Pound Puppies.
Yeah, me too.
Did you? I had the Pound Purry also, the cat.
Mm-hmm.
What about Quince? You love Quince, right?
Big fan.
Let me think. What other kind of bullshit? Ooh, what about Halloween costumes? I asked that before. I was like, do you remember any Halloween costumes you wore?
Yeah, I didn't. I don't remember dressing up that much.
Did you go?
I mean, though I would go trick or treating. Either I didn't have a memorable costume or I didn't dress up at all. Like mostly,
boring if you just didn't dress up.
I know. Yeah, I was a weird kid. I mean, I remember one year, I told the story before on stream at some point, but I was into like ninjas and Ninja Gaiden and stuff, and I was like, I want to be a ninja, and my mom got a ninja costume, and I didn't like it for some reason. It was like weird. It wasn't the ninja that I had imagined, so I didn't wear it.
It's like a Kmart ninja.
I don't know. Yeah, it was just I was a stupid kid. I decided not to like it for whatever reason.
So what? You just didn't wear it?
I recall not wearing it. I don't know what happened, though. I might have actually been forced to wear it.
Yeah, it's hard to remember what we were forced to do or not. I remember I was a kitty cat one year. I was probably like 6. I don't remember. I don't think I would have chosen that. It was just like a little black cat with a tail and ears and like a dumb black nose painted on, or whiskers or whatever. What a stereotypical costume for like a 6-year-old, you know.
I know. I probably had a couple of those. My mom could probably tell you better than me what I was.
Well, put her on. Just go get her. Mom, what costume?
Mom.
My mom made me I bet I could find it online, but there was like a thing you could buy where you make it yourself out of like felt and cotton and stuff. It was a Ninja Turtle costume, and it was like the full deal. It was really, I loved that costume.
Nice.
DIY costume, maybe? No, these look like trash. No, that's it. It was like 80s, so yeah, no, not this. But yeah, it was cool. So I was cool when I was in like 3rd grade. I got to be a Ninja Turtle with like the fully fledged everything. Full body costume was cool.
Nice.
I was Mike.
Cool.
Can't believe you wouldn't be your ninja. Come on.
I mean, yeah. If I could go back in time, I probably would say, "Wow, cool costume! I love it. I'll wear it."
Ooh, what about like of all the chain fast food places? What's your favorites?
Let's see.
If you were on a road trip right now and they're like, "Hey, we got to stop somewhere for some food," where are you picking?
I guess I would go to Wendy's.
Wendy's is probably the top tier.
Yeah. For
like if you have to get some fast food.
Yeah.
Okay, what about like a sub?
Sub? Anywhere but Subway.
What's that?
Anywhere but Subway.
Oh yeah, I don't like Subway.
Like literally anything's fine. Yeah.
Let's see. What about like sandwiches in general? Hey, go make a sandwich. What do you, of any kind you want? What are you getting?
Probably like BLT with avocado, maybe.
Ugh. I guess I've never had it, but like sliced avocado or like guac?
Yeah. Yeah, like sliced avocado.
I never had it.
Yeah.
Interesting. Sounds weird. Like it also has bacon, lettuce, and tomato?
Yeah.
Any sauce?
Just mayo.
Just mayo. Well, what kind of mayo do you get?
Just regular, like, light mayo.
Ugh. Is it like Hellman's?
It's like, I don't know, Best Foods or something?
Ugh. Puke! America Whip or fry. Like, I'm a big mayonnaise person, or non-mayonnaise person. I hate mayo, but I like America Whip. That's like my thing.
Yeah, my whole family is in America Whip.
But not you?
Not me.
It's like, it just adds zip to it, you know?
Yeah, sure.
No, you don't like it.
I mean, I don't agree.
What about if you gotta, like, hey, go get whatever cereal you want to eat for breakfast? What are you picking?
Probably Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah, I do like it. I just don't think I'd be my first pick. I don't know. Things like
there's a couple
crap I kind of grew out of.
Yeah, same.
Now it's like mini wheats. I like a lot.
I like mini wheats too nowadays. Like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, mini wheats, and I used to like just regular Captain Crunch a lot. I don't know. I haven't tried it in a long time.
It's still good. What about like have you had Golden Grams in a long time?
It's been a long time. I haven't had them.
They came out with retro Golden Grams. They're using the old recipe. It's really good.
Okay.
They're using like the 80s, the way it used to be.
Okay.
And I was like, oh yeah, it does taste like it. That was interesting. Do you like Fruity Pebbles or cocoa?
Probably ate them back in the day, but I don't think I would be interested in them nowadays.
Yeah. All right, so you gotta go grab a soda from or a pop, whichever region you come from. What are you picking?
People are gonna think I'm weird for some reason. I don't know why, but I'm going Pepsi.
Why is that weird? It's like half the nation.
Everyone hates Pepsi that I have heard.
I don't prefer it. I'll drink it if it's there, but like generally, if a place has Pepsi, then they have Mountain Dew, so that's what I get.
Okay.
But like, I love Coke. That's like, Coke or Pepsi. I'm a Coke person.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's not like it's weird. Why do you think people are gonna hate you for picking like one of the most famous pops? Weird.
All the Coke fans are gonna just have me skewered.
Well, if you said like Mellow Yellow, I guess that would be like, ugh.
I really love RC Cola.
I mean, somebody does. RC Cola just tastes like the crap you get from like Aldi's,
Pretty much, yeah.
It's just like, it's generic pop. That's what always RC. Do you remember when there was 3 liters? Were you old enough for that, or young enough?
3 liters. I don't remember that.
Yeah, they used to sell pop in 3-liter bottles, and they had a big mouth on them with a big cap. It was weird. They were just giant. Mm-hmm. So I guess that must have been like a very early '80s thing, and then it stopped. You were probably too young.
Yeah.
Because I was young. I was like 5 when I remember those. Mm. Seems pointless, doesn't it? Just get 2 liters or something.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Dumb. Let's see, what else can I waste people's time with? Let's I gotta think if there's like things that I should that I didn't ask. Oh, what's the story of the Carebot logo?
So yeah, I guess I didn't talk about like why we called ourselves Carebot Games.
Yeah. What is it?
So that was something I came up with before I met King Dolce, and I was working on. I had dreams of making a game by myself or whatever. I was like, what do I call myself? Do I just use my name, or And I came up with the logo when I was brainstorming, and the name Carebot Games. I was just like, whoa, what do I like? I don't know. Make a little robot and call it Carebot Games, and put a little heart on there.
Well, like, what came first? The idea for a game called Carebots?
No, I mean it was just
came up with a company name.
It was literally just the name, like.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay, so I guess maybe you could say that the robots maybe came from this game I was working on called Party Crashers, and it was like a side-scrolling action game where you fight robots.
I've never heard of
it. Well, it never released. I never put it out.
You
or
never
anything.
showed anything of it, right, in the past.
I put a video on my YouTube. I don't know if it's like public anymore.
I'm gonna have to look because I don't remember that at all.
Okay. Don't look at it.
But I want to see it. Is that where like Dolce's little robot guy also, he said? Is that from that game?
Yes. Well, it's not from that game actually. It's just something because when we were like, so when I met Dolce, and I was like, oh, what if we call ourselves Carebot Games? Because that was like what I wanted to call my studio or whatever.
And you guys
didn't
really have a name yet, so
exactly. And he's like, yeah, that's cool. And then but he wanted to make his own like avatar in the Carebot style or whatever, and that's what he came up with.
I thought there was like enemies in a game that you were making, or like robots in a game or something you were making.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's probably what started it. I had robots on the brain.
What was it
and
called?
I was like,
even if it doesn't exist, what was it called? The game?
It's called Operation Party Crasher.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm curious.
Probably. I mean,
it's not there though.
It's I think it might be on there, but it's a game that I want to put out eventually. I'd like to make a game in that style. Yeah.
Was it really old? Like, is that one of the first things you did?
Yeah. That was what year was that? 2013, 2014. That I was working on that. It was like after I had taken some classes in like programming and game design. I got into Game Maker.
On your YouTube with the word party in it.
Okay, maybe I put it on private or something.
Yeah, it could be. Or
I can show it to you later. Yeah.
Yeah, because I've never seen it, so I was like, I would have seen it if it was on your page. I feel like.
Yeah. So I didn't get super far. I kind of like had the engine going, and I had like a test level. That was pretty much it.
Oh, here's one. Like before, because I mean, I feel like I have a lot of instances of this, but like before you ever started making your own games, did you have like hints of that? Like you used to like edit things, make maps for other games, like stuff like that, like pre-programming stuff.
Yes. So I'm trying to think back to the earliest instance of that. I guess it would probably be like RPG Maker 2 on the Super Famicom.
Oh, yeah.
I've had a ROM. Yeah. So when emulators were first a thing, we found out there was this thing called RPG Maker. I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. You can make your own RPG. And I would play with that on an emulator, and I don't think I ever made anything.
Do you still have any of those projects or anything like that? You said you didn't make anything on that.
No, not that. The closest thing I have is when RPG Maker came out on PlayStation.
I remember
there was it came out in the US. I was like, oh my god!
To, like, hunt and peck on the virtual keyboard to type
yes.
everything.
yeah.
Rough days.
I thought it was so cool, and when that came out, I was like on the Age Tech, which was the company that published it. Yeah, I was on their forums. I was like there every day, like, oh my god, I'm waiting for RPG Maker, dude.
I used RPG Maker 2000.
Okay,
which was
I think I used that too. Yeah. I think I played with that too.
I still have my project from that. It's still playable. I wouldn't want anybody to play it because it's pretty offensive, but it's not like not hate offensive. It's just like it's kind of gross.
Yeah.
People say some filthy things in it.
So when I was so hyped for the release of RPG Maker on PlayStation, I sent a letter to maybe an email, a letter or an email to Electronic Gaming Monthly, because that was my favorite magazine. Yeah, and I was like, "Could you guys like run a contest for like RPG Maker?"
Just tell them to run a contest.
Yeah, I was like into it, and then they did. They never responded to me, but they like, hey, you guys were having a contest. Send in your RPGs.
You're like, you son of a bitch! I came up with that. No, you're probably just happy to see they were doing it, right?
Oh yeah. I was psyched. And you had to buy this weird peripheral to get your memory card data onto like the computer.
Did you send it in?
I did, yeah.
What happened?
So I got an honorable mention.
Oh.
For they said mine had the best story,
but it wasn't good enough for them.
No, it was very rushed and bad. So
like they didn't like the combat or something like that.
I mean, the combat it's just basic RPG Maker combat,
right?
Yeah. The one that they gave the award to was like very unique and funny.
Okay, I was gonna say if you had the best story, what the fuck else is there?
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
because they're all using assets that you had to use from the PlayStation.
The one that I think it was called Remote Control, the one that won, and it was like kind of subversive and funny.
Yeah, like a weird sort of premise.
Yeah, and they said that was the most interesting one. I remember the story for the game. I spent like by far the most time on the intro of the game, like the setup of it. But it was just like an apocalypse scenario where, you know, in the future, aliens come to the Earth, and you know, there's like a conflict between the humans and the aliens, and then it sends the whole world into like the fantasy era, basically. And
then everyone turned into the bunny girl graphic that you. Do you remember
exactly.
The bunny girl graphic was in the head?
Oh yeah.
That was your story. Everybody turned to bunny girl.
Yeah. I always try to like shoehorn it in there, like have some kind of bunny girl.
So stupid. I remember that. Yeah, the fact that you had to type everything, I forgot about that in the PlayStation when I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any projects of yours, or just stuff like that, that's just lost? Like you worked on something and it's just gone?
I mean, that one, the one that I sent into EGM, probably, I don't know where that would be. I don't think I have that anymore. And I also used to play with Build, because it came with Duke Nukem 3D.
Yeah, that was cool.
And I made some kind of interesting stuff with it, but I never released it or anything, and that's all lost too, probably.
I remember learning how to make like vehicles move and stuff in Build.
Yeah.
It was cool.
There's some neat stuff you can do with it.
Let's see. I know I lost. There was AGS, I think, Adventure Game Studio. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's like what they make like the King's Quest games in, and stuff like that. I made an adventure game where you like go through my dream world or something like that with Disaster Squad characters, and that's gone. It's just gone.
Okay.
Got deleted with a computer that got axed. I just forgot to take it out. It was never finished, but it'd be interesting to see.
Right.
Like what it looked like. I had the engine done and everything. Well, the engine's that, but I mean, I had like the framework done.
Right.
How you move around and go in places. Yeah, that's the big one. I'm sad that I can never see that again. Did you ever send any other letters to anything that got responses?
Yeah. I sent a letter when I was probably 11 to Cartoon Planet on Cartoon Network, which is a show with Space Ghost and Zorak and Brak. And I was into Earthbound at the time, and so I tried to make it like kind of funny because I thought Cartoon Planet was very funny.
No, it wasn't. It was direly serious. You kidding? It was dour.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, the dark undertones of the show that I know about.
Seeing them read it on the air must have been funny.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, so I wrote the letter, and I didn't see the episode that they showed it on
until when did you see it?
Years later. It was probably, I don't know, probably 2000, late 2000s.
Were you like, holy shit?
Yeah. I was like brushing my teeth or something, and I had it on the other room, and I was like, "Wait,
was it on TV or was it like a DVD collection yet?"
It was on DVD. Or no, it was on TV. I just had Adult Swim on or whatever. There's Cartoon Network on.
You're like, what?
I was like,
you like spit out your fucking toothpaste. You go run back in there. Like, wait a minute, what?
I hear George Lowe, the voice of Space Ghost, like Matthew McCabe from. I'm like, wait, what?
And did you immediately like get blasted from the past and like go back? And be like, I remember writing that.
Yes, I was like, oh my god, they printed my letter.
I forget what you wrote. Wasn't it like, you are a very funny guy, ha 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 ha, or something like that?
There was I was laughing and then trailing off. I forget what else. Maybe I said like Brak is kind of weird or something.
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
So it would have been like what, 5 years after it would have gone in, you actually saw it? Like 6
probably
years or something later.
Yeah.
Because in 2000 you would have been what, 16?
Yeah.
And you said you saw it in like 2000?
It was late. It was probably later 2000s. Like I don't know, 2000.
So
yeah, maybe.
But either way, it was like 8 years later. You just happened to run into it or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any stories like that. I remember a buddy of mine wrote into American Gladiators, and they read his thing on the air.
Oh, nice.
It was like, hey, what was the girl's name? I don't remember, but do you remember those?
Yeah, sure.
The Gladiators. There was one. Maybe her name was Zap or something like that. But he's just like, how do you train? And that was it. It was like the most boring fucking question.
Yeah. He just wanted to write a letter.
With weights and running. Like, what the fuck else do you think, kid? But he picked the most boring, like, nobody cares, like, non-famous of all the people on there.
Oh, okay.
It was like one of the C-listers, you know?
Right.
Not the biggest, the strongest, the coolest. It was just like, oh, hey, Zap, you're like a D-tier gladiator.
Was that like a strategy? Like he wanted them to get some screen time or something? Or?
I think he just liked Zap. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't even remember if I think Zap might have been like a dude. I can't remember her name, but it was like one of the C-listers.
Yeah. Okay.
I remember a dude named Tower on that. He was like 6'4" or something like that. Just like really big.
Yeah.
And like, do you remember them running up some escalators that were going the other way during like some kind of a eliminator thing where there was like side by side, you go across monkey bars, you go up a thing, down a thing. I remember that a little bit. Who the hell cares about American Gladiators anymore?
The only thing I remember is the staff with the two things on the end that they would fight with.
Jousting, yeah.
Yeah.
You fall off the thing. You don't remember like a gladiator is behind glass shooting a cannon?
Oh,
that?
yeah.
And they
Yes.
have to like go from pod to pod with worse and worse weapons trying to hit them.
Yes.
And like at the end, all you have is a few footballs to like throw.
I remember that now, yeah.
But if you can make it all the way to the front without, and you win. That was an interesting one.
Yeah.
What about the big ball, the hamster balls that they rolled in?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So,
Okay, it's coming back.
If you saw any of these things, you'd remember them.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a sensation for a while. Did you watch TGIF?
Yeah, was that the one that had Family Matters and stuff?
Yep, Full House, Dinosaurs, Family Matters.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
That was like a ritual for a lot of kids back then.
Sure, yeah.
What about God, what was on, like, when you were a kid? What do you remember being on TV when you came home from school?
I would watch The Noozles, which was an anime about magical koalas or something.
Yeah. Fuck the Noozles.
That's cool. I loved it. And then what else was on? I think there was I don't know if it was an anime, but there was a show about...
Did you have cable?
Not at first.
I never had cable, so I don't know the Noozles. I thought maybe they're a local color for you guys. I don't know, but
it could have been,
yeah. But they weren't on for me.
There's another one I'm trying to think of. I would watch like David the Gnome.
Yeah,
Maya the Bee.
That's like Canadian, isn't it?
I think so. And then Maya the Bee. I think that was, I don't know if it was an anime or it was French or whatever.
Yeah, what the fuck are these weird foreign things you're watching?
They're on Nick or something. I think they're on Nickelodeon. I think
That's cable.
Okay, then it was after we got
Yeah,
cable.
Nickelodeon is purely cable. I never had cable, so okay, so that's why. Did you ever? Did you watch any of the live action Nickelodeon shows? I thought those were insufferable.
I used to like All That or whatever when that came out.
Oh my god!
And
Children just never were funny to me.
There was a point at which I thought they were funny.
Until you get to like Tim and Eric, they're funny on Tim and Eric.
Yeah, and Keenan and Kel, I think I watched a little bit of that.
Good Burger?
Yeah, well, I did watch Good Burger in the theater, yeah.
In the theater?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, wow. What was the last movie you saw in the theater now?
Oh, God.
God, I don't remember. I think it was
might have been
1.
I think it might have been Joker.
What the fuck else would I have seen? I don't know.
Yeah.
Joker? You saw that? Was it any good?
Yeah, it was good. It was fine.
Because, yeah, like, I saw the Pokemon movie with my kid, and I saw the Sonic movie with my kid, but I can't remember anything else than that. What's, like, your favorite movie of all time?
Let me... there's a couple I could answer here.
Just off
Let
the
me
top
think
of your
of
head,
it.
like, you don't have to really go deep. But...
Let me... I think I gotta go with...
You can pick a few.
Probably... Okay. I'll give you a couple. I'll give you a wide range of movies here. Clue.
Which ending?
All of them.
Any?
Yeah, the one I think the Blu-ray has like all of them, and they all play like after one another.
But didn't each theater have a different one? They kind of mixed them up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah. I love that movie. I love Spirited Away.
Oh, that's like the best Miyazaki in my opinion.
I think so too. Yeah.
It's just one interesting thing to another. It's really it doesn't really gel together as one big story. It's just like a collection of really cool stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, it's very heartwarming.
It's just it's nice to look at in general too.
There's so much just detail.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I guess like a regular movie like There Will Be Blood.
What is
Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it.
It's like recent-ish. It has like Daniel Day-Lewis.
Don't know.
It's about just an oil baron.
Huh.
And his career, I guess.
Like influential for me, like favorites like Army of Darkness, like and like Evil Dead 2, where it's just like doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's still kind of spooky and kind of fun. It's just like having fun with being spooky. I love stuff like that. I don't like horror movies though. I think they're dumb as hell. I like comedies generally. I like Dumb and Dumber. Do you like that?
Yeah.
It's like, to me, that's just like one of my favorite dumb comedies. I guess, what are some of your influences when it comes to, obviously, Uchikoshi, right? What are some of your influences, other influences, when it comes to, like, game design and stuff like that? Like, who are the people you idolize?
I really like almost everything from Treasure.
Yeah.
So, Gunstar Heroes, Mischief Makers, all that stuff.
They know how to program like hell.
Oh yeah, their stuff is always like top-notch gameplay. What else? Earthbound, like Shigesato Itoi, I guess the creator of that one. Yeah.
That goes with like using what you limited resources to make something memorable.
Right.
Or like limited tech.
That was when I played Earthbound, I got it when it came out, and that was like the first game I played that was like really funny.
It's one of those things. Like you're one of a very few who played it when it came out. The general consensus is nobody played it until much later.
Right.
It was not like respected in its time at all.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like I don't know anybody who played it like right when it came out. Really,
right.
Played it a bit later. I played it because I heard it was weird. Like really, not a few years after it came out. I remember looking around for it at Funko Land. You know, I always thought my favorite thing about Earthbound is the tone, where it's funny, right? But it's also like there's a lot of really just like not heavy, but I don't know how to put it. The tone is very warm. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Like a lot of even the audio has a lot of these really warm, bassy tone to it, and like not somber, but just like I don't even know how to describe it.
Yeah. It's like let's see. I don't know, cozy.
Yeah, that would probably be a good word for it. But like, probably my favorite thing about it is like none of the kids, the main characters, really have any reason to be doing what they're doing. They're just like, I know I have to do this, and they just do it.
Yeah.
And then they get it done, and they're like, goodbye. Like, that we did what we had to do, and then they just leave. I thought that was really cool. Like, when Jeff, he just wakes up in the middle of the night, he's like, I have to do this.
Right.
And his friends are just like, all right, whatever his buddy is, he's like, I don't understand why you gotta do this, but I'm not gonna question it.
Yeah, there's a sincerity to it, right?
Yeah, that's a good word for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that mixed with the music, mixed with all that, and then the silly stuff is just like, that's icing on the cake, but like it had a really great like drive forward.
Yeah.
When it came to that.
Yep.
All that shit. Yeah, I like Earthbound. But like it got overblown over the years, I think, a bit.
Sure, yeah. It's one of those games that had such a big following on the internet.
I hate when people act like it's always been a classic. I'm like, no.
Right.
It was not liked until way later.
Right.
Because like Final Fantasy III was out at the time, and like people looked back and forth like, ew, Earthbound's ugly.
I know, it got so much bad press for the look of the game
back then. That was the whole. That's the whole race.
Yep.
I guess before we're done, we're pushing 2 hours here. What's the I like to ask, like, what if you had to like pick? You don't have to pick exactly 5, but like, what are your favorite games of all time? You don't have to pick like ones you'd play for the rest of your life. Just like, oh, these are my favorites.
Okay.
Like, you think these games are not the best, but they're your favorites.
Okay. Probably first one I pick is probably Resident Evil 4.
Ooh, that's a good pick.
Yeah. I know that's probably a more popular. Like, a lot of people would probably answer that if they were.
It's deserving.
Yeah.
Which version?
The one I played first was PS2. My brother had it on GameCube before that, and I didn't play it, or I didn't realize how good it was.
I played it on GameCube first, and it was actually I think it was better on GameCube. Honestly, it looked better.
Yeah,
but
I think it was too.
Then I played it on the Wii, and that was an even better experience.
The Wii was awesome. I got that one too.
Did you? Okay, good. That was,
it was like
to me, it was perfection.
Yeah, it was life changing. I was like, oh my god, it feels so good to play.
Exactly what it needed. Because I'm like, what's the point of porting it one generation later? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like perfect.
So yeah, that I think is the best incarnation without being HD or like a new one.
Yeah, it was very, very good on the Wii.
So that's one.
Probably Beyond Oasis.
Oh, you like that much?
On the Genesis? Yeah, it's one of my favorite games for sure.
I didn't know it was that high on your list.
So that was a game that I think we rented it at first, just out of curiosity, and I was probably like 10-ish or 11-ish maybe when I played it, and I just thought it was so cool.
It's got a great story.
It was unique, and it was like a Zelda game on the Genesis, and I thought that was super cool. And I had a
Senti.
I didn't play that one. But I had a fun discovery story of actually getting the game after I had rented it.
What? Oasis?
Yeah. I was at a KB Toys, and they had a bin of games or whatever, at the front of the store. I don't know if it was used games or what. No, it wouldn't use, because our copy was new.
I could picture a bargain bin at the front of KB.
But they would have
crates.
Yeah, I think so. And I think they had just the boxes, and then you would tell them to get it, and they would get it from behind the counter or something. Yeah. And I was digging through there. We were about to leave, and I found Beyond Oasis. Oh shit, Beyond Oasis! It's that game that I played. And I remember giving it to him, and it's oh, I don't know if we have it. We can't find it back here. And I was like, oh, can you check again?
Oh, so they have boxes but no copies?
Something like that. There was something weird like that. And then, but they eventually found it. I was like, yes. And then my mom got it for me or whatever. And
that was KB Toys?
I think it was KB Toys. Yeah.
It was at the mall.
Yeah.
That's weird. Why would they have all those boxes if they didn't have the
I don't know. That's what I remember. Maybe, something might have gotten...
Do you remember Toys R Us used to have the little tickets you had to take up?
Yes. I have some memories of I got Vector Man at Toys R Us. I remember playing it on the kiosk at Toys R Us, and I was like, oh my god, this looks so cool. Yeah, I was so... And we also got Killer Instinct at Toys R Us. I was really into the arcade version of that.
I remember it came with Sonic Spinball at a Sears kiosk and wanting it.
Yeah.
Who the hell played Sonic Spinball?
I played Spinball at some kiosk.
Well, let's see. So you got Resident Evil 4, Beyond Oasis, and what else?
Okay, let's see. What else would I pick?
You love these games. Are your faves?
Let's see. I think I'm gonna go with Metal Gear Solid 1.
Never played all the way through it. I played it a bit, but I understand it being on people's lists.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like the remake on GameCube?
I did. Actually, I got Twin Snakes on GameCube. I don't know if it was right when it came out or after it came out, but that one I loved it because it had the gameplay improvements from Metal Gear Solid 2.
Yeah. I feel like no one talks about that game, the remake.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, they really don't.
It's I think literally there's a remake of Solid.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome, and I think people think that way. I think they changed some of the cutscenes so they're way over the top now.
Is that good?
I mean, I thought it was awesome at the time.
It's that's kind of what Metal Gear's thing is, really, when you think about
it. I know, yeah, it's really not that strange to me, but whatever, But yeah, I loved Twin Snakes. I thought that was really cool, even though I think some of the bosses are a little I don't know, easy.
What did he do with Mantis? What did he talk about on your GameCube slot?
Oh, I don't. Your games? I'm sure he did. I don't remember what he said. I don't remember what I had on my memory card at the time.
To play Mario Kart? So they got him the voice actor back.
He must have. Yeah, he must have done that. But yeah, that's definitely one of them.
That's 3.
Okay.
You gotta have more.
Okay, I can come up with some more.
It's the whole problem with this question is always that there's so many.
I know, yeah.
And then you forget about ones. You're like, oh, fucking Advance Wars or something. You know, like I love that.
It's tough. It really is. I mean, when you talked about Earthbound, I would say that's one of them. But that's on there. I would say. But to talk about something else, I would
list.
Yeah, I would say 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors.
Yeah,
is
that's up there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I don't know where I'd put it. It's in my top 20 at least.
Yeah, definitely for me too.
Yeah, I always have a hard time. I can definitely do a top few, but like doing exactly what you think your favorites are is rough.
That's true, yeah.
Because like Resident Evil 4, I didn't even think of it. I would definitely put it in my top, games, but like where, I don't know.
That one's like burned into my mind. Like whenever I think about my favorite game,
is one of mine. That's like way up
Oh
there.
yeah.
And my number one's always Super Metroid. That's like if anybody asks me just what I think the pinnacle of games are, I say Super Metroid.
Right.
It was like the perfect blending of story, or what's that called? The storytelling where you hands off.
Shoto Tell.
Yeah, that's one word for it, but just whatever. Like it's not intrusive, except like Super Metroid would be the most perfect game ever if you could skip the intro.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why you can't skip the intro, because sometimes I want to start it up and I just don't want to wait through that.
Yeah. Takes a few minutes for sure.
Yes, the first few times I saw it was absolutely awesome, and it's like I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I guess they didn't.
Like that has a feeling when it comes to the audio and the video mixing together. It's like the most perfect thing on the planet to me.
Yeah,
they nailed the tone of that one.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, what other genres? Like, do you have one from another genre you'd like to throw in?
Let's see here.
How about like an action game or something? What's your favorite fighting game?
Favorite fighting game, huh? I mean, I think it has my favorite character. I don't know if it says it's my favorite fighting game though.
Like, if you could play a fighting game right now, you get to pick one. Which would you pick?
I would say, I would pick Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, maybe.
Just like the pinnacle.
That's just the most fun every time. Like every time I play it, it's just fun.
It's got like a perfect blend of characters that all complement each other just right.
Yeah, it's the final revision, and it was all pretty much refined at that point.
I guess that covers all the bases for like favorites. I'm sure there's hundreds, right? When you really got to think about it, but it's like without any preparation, that's rough.
Yeah, true.
What's a series that you think more people should appreciate?
I would say Brandish.
Yeah, I would say like Bit Trip series. I love that series.
Oh yeah,
that's like one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, is there any other words that you'd like to throw out?
I don't think so. I think I pretty much said my piece.
No, there's always more pieces.
Oh.
And I cannot believe. I can't believe you would do that on my show.
God, I farted.
I'm so sorry. Oh my god. So yeah, let's see. We got SirPhobos84. Go make sure you follow him on all of these things here. Anybody who ever sees this, I'm gonna put him on my main channel, just in a playlist. I'm gonna talk to some more people anytime I can. And I don't know. Any final words? You said your piece.
Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good to have you on, and I will see you next time. Yeah, there's not really any way to wrap these up. It's just like we are done talking now.
Yep, that's it. Okay.
But yeah, go check out Broken Silence. Go check out Broken Silence Renpai. Go check out Cyber Badminton 2020. Go play all those games. I enjoy them, and
Please
you should too. So I will see you guys on the next one with another person or robot to talk to. All right, say bye.
Bye-bye.